internets, I'm Michael and this is Toucan Play That Game. And today we're taking a look at Scape by GDM Games. So what is Scape? Well, looking at the cover here we can see that it's kind of got this old World War feel to it. You've got this prison encampment and yeah, that's kind of all that's telling us. The actual nature of this game is that it's a deduction game. A deduction and card manipulation game. So the way this all works is you have cards that will have special powers on but also have a letter on, and you're trying to build a tunnel to escape this prison. The problem is you're not the only one trying to escape this prison. There's lots of other people with you, but they're not necessarily on your side. So there's a lot of trying to be the ones who build the tunnel correctly with your symbol showing on them. If this isn't making much sense, why don't we take a look at the table and hopefully that'll clear things up a bit. Here we have two players' hands. First thing they have is a secret identity card. So on the back of this, it just tells you what all the different special powers are. So this will decipher any symbology on these tunnel cards here, which are the ones with the letter on the back. So they'll each look to see if they're S.C.A.P.E or RAF. That determines which side you're on. So if you're S.C.A.P.E, you want more S.C.A.P.E tunnels than you do RAF. And if there's an uneven number of players, you'll also have a player who is SSS. And the SSS win if any SSS card is included in the tunnel, or if the tunnel is incomplete. On a turn, the player has two options. They can either play a card face down, adding it to the tunnel for its letter, and the tunnel will be completed when you spell out Scape. So let's see, we've got an S, missing an A, and we'd also need a C. So let's see if we can find a C, and there we go. So there we go, that would be a completed tunnel there with all 5 letters. If at the end of the game, say, any of those are missing, only the SSS player can win. The game will end when you've finished out the deck here. So the reason this would happen is at the end of each turn, players always draw back up to 4 cards. So let's say it's this player here's turn. As well as playing a card face down onto here, so say they could do that, they could, instead of choosing to play it face down, they could choose to play it face up. And at that point you get the special ability. So this one here, if we look at our reference sheet, tell us that each player passes a card to his right or left as indicated by the arrow. So in this case it would be to the right. So this player will let's just pick one randomly, give this one to this player and this one gives that one to that player. It's then the end of their turn and they draw a new card. It then passes to the next player and they look at their cards and they go, well, I want to find out what my opponent is. Although in a 2-player game you kind of know because it's whatever you're not. So they discard that and they get to look at their opponent's card and they go, you're S.C.A.P.E. But if there were multiple players, that would obviously be a lot more useful. And you'll keep playing like this until you empty out the deck. At which point, let's say we've played a few more on here. So we've got an A there, a C there, another C, another C. The only card that actually matters in these piles is the card at the bottom. So we've played all of these out. We've used all the cards. We've played all the cards from our hand. Like, you know, just out of curiosity, we'll just play these down. Boom, 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 boom. These have all been played and the game is now over because we're out of cards to draw and no one has any cards left in hand. So we turn over each of these piles. And we can see we've got SS symbol here, which means the SS player would win, or if there is no SS player, everyone loses. So let's say that wasn't there. We then have no SS, so that means yay, either the S.C.A.P.E or the RAF player has won. But which one has won? Well, it's whoever has the most symbols showing. So RAF, we've got 1, 2. So they have 2, and S.C.A.P.E have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So obviously S.C.A.P.E would win. If there are multiple players as S.C.A.P.E, then obviously they win as a team. That is Scape. Well, what do I think of it? Let's start with the artwork. I quite like this artwork. It's nice. It kind of has that historic feel of it. There's nothing offensive there. It's just, yeah, it's got this classical feel that feels like it fits with the theme, so I really like it. Then component-wise, well, it's this tiny little box, and I like that. It's nice, it's easy, it's portable. And then it's just cards. The cards are okay component-wise, so there's not really a lot to talk about there. So let's just move straight on to the gameplay. Now, this isn't an amazing game, it's not a bad game, it's a good, okay little game. Now, I like the way it works with the multi-purpose cards. If you've a fan of the channel, you've probably heard me say that about many games, that I like when they have multi-purpose cards, that it gives you choices. So you know, when you've got your hand of cards, you've got the choice of, do I use it to put down as a letter? Do I use it for a power? What's the best thing to do here to help me figure out who's on my side, to change the tunnel? But we need to make sure the tunnel is built. Really quite interesting. It's a short little quick game. It doesn't play long at all, which I like. You know, as a deduction-y filler game, it's really nice and interesting. The big issue with it is actually player numbers. So can 2 play that game? No, it just doesn't work, because obviously immediately you know what side the other person's on. You're just like, well, I want to remove your cards, although you do then start double bluffing. But yeah, it's not as good. In fact, it's not good with an even number at all, really. Because of having the SS agent, it actually works a lot better with an odd number, because then you've got that one person who you're never quite sure, are they the SS agent? Are they on someone else's side? You know, all they have to do is get that one card in that tunnel, and they win the game and everyone else loses. It makes it so much more interesting. What I would say is 3 players, it's still not enough. The more players, the better, but at the same time, the less you have to play card-wise. You run out of cards very quickly. Really, ideal number on this is 5 players for the number of cards to give you enough cards that you're actually getting to do some choices, and having the odd number, that seems to be the sweet spot, that 5 player. It is an okay game with other numbers. I really don't recommend going below 4. And if you go above 7, it starts to get a bit, I have my starting cards and they're the only cards I'm ever going to get to play, pretty much. You could buy multiple copies of this. In fact, it says it will play up to a huge number more if you do buy multiple copies, and I think that might be the way to go if you want this to play a lot more people. And now obviously it's a very small, low price point game, so very feasible to do that as well. So that is my thoughts on Scape, a handy little deduction filler game, but a bit restrictive on those player numbers, because ideally you want 3 players. Is there anyone particularly who I think this would appeal to as a game? I don't think there's anyone it particularly would appeal to. I don't think there's anyone who would particularly hate it either, though. It's just one of those kind of okay, nice games. No one's going to be hunting it out. But if someone has it and wants to play it, I would definitely choose to play this. It's not bad by any means at all. So I do hope that you found this video useful, and of course if you have, please do check out the rest of the videos on the channel, as well as subscribing to the channel and sharing it with your friends and family. And do also take a look at us on social media. You can find us on Facebook and on Twitter. And as always, thanks for watching, and bye for now.